guys, welcome back to my segment. Y'all know it's spoilerific, so you're warned. If you've never seen this show, turn off your F. Sorry guys, I'm a little chaotic today. Anyway, let's get into what you are here for. Today's couple is Ryuji and Minori from the anime show Toradora. This is Ryuji. This is Minori. I'm gonna go over how they met, their backstories, how they connect to each other, what trials they face in trying to connect to each other, the ending of the pair. Okay, obviously they met in school, where Ryuji has a crush on her from afar, to the point he would cut his bangs worried it's not fluffy enough. Ryuji unfortunately looks like a delinquent due to his eyes. Even though he makes good grades, still this somewhat isolated him. His best friend Kitamura, however, tries his best to hang out with him, even though he's assisting the class president, Sumire Kano. Minori is a sweet, friendly person who is on the school's baseball team. She likes to cook and work multiple jobs to earn money. She has a younger brother, as you guys can tell. I know Ryuji's backstory. His mom raised him by herself, having had his dad out of the picture, either by death or by other circumstances. I'm not too sure about Minori's backstory, truth be told. But let's just take a quick guess. She has a mother and father, encouraging her with her dreams of being a baseball star. These two connect to each other because they go to the same school, have some classes together, have a close set of friends they hang out with. Taiga and Kitamura and other friends as well. They also like to cook as well. The trials they face together as friends, who have crushes on each other, were insurmountable. He first liked her, and then he gets caught up in Taiga's crush on Kitamura, his best friend. He promises to help Taiga get Kitamura to go out with her by having her help him get close to. During their summer break, Minori, Kitamura, Ami, Ryuji, Taiga and Minori all go to Ami's villa to spend their summer there. During their stay, Ryuji takes this chance to get to know Minori better. After dinner, Minori and Ryuji talk about ghosts and love over ice cream. She tells Ryuji, "I believe ghosts exist in this world, but I've never seen them." I don't believe people who said they've seen them. I've also thought about this in the same way. I believe in the future. I'll fall in love, get married, and become happy. But actually, I've never had that feeling for anyone before. I feel distant to those who talk about love in this world. That's because I can't see it. Since ghosts don't exist, I'll never see them. She is implying that she knows that Ryuji is interested in her and likes her, but because he has never acted on his feelings, she doesn't believe it. She is trying to tell Ryuji that if he is interested in her, he needs to tell her. Despite her airheaded tendencies, she is very perceptive and is one of the few people to see Ryuji for the gentle person he is, and is also not fooled by Ami's acts of innocence. She also sees and knows that Ryuji and Taiga love and care for each other deeply, despite Taiga's acts of pushing Ryuji and Minori to be together. When Ryuji tells Minori that Taiga and her father are beginning to reconnect, Minori gets angry and argues with Ryuji that Taiga should not have anything to do with her father, while Ryuji feels the opposite. Taiga tries to calm things down by making the two shake hands, but Ryuji walks away angrily. During the festival, Taiga's father does not show up, and Ryuji does not apologize to Minori, just as Taiga makes a dramatic appearance in the beauty contest. Ryuji receives a text from her father saying he would not be able to live with her. Taiga wins the beauty contest, despite the sadness that her father did not show up. A race is held to determine who will dance with Taiga and Ryuji. Finally, understanding Minori's warning, is determined to win it using shortcuts and stepping on top of other participants. Minori also decides to run the race for her best friend, even surpassing Ryuji near the end of the race. Two boys pushes Minori down and she throws a baseball at them. She also throws herself towards the last for participants and provides an opportunity for Ryuji to win. However, he goes back for her. They hold hands as they cross the finish line together, forgiving each other. In episode 17, Minori becomes disoriented during a baseball game because of what Ami had said about Minori's feelings of guilt of not telling Ryuji her feelings, and makes a mistake that causes her team to lose the game. After Ryuji tells Taiga that his relationship with Minori has not progressed, Taiga declares the need to play Cupid for him, since she wants to be good for Santa. At school the next morning, Kitamura announces that the student council will organize a Christmas Eve party to boost romantic feelings among students. Taiga and Ryuji ask Minori to go to the party with them, but she vehemently declines. This causes Taiga and Ryuji to worry about Minori. Everyone is helping with the Christmas party and helps put together an artificial Christmas tree topped with a glass star that Taiga brought, which she says is her most valuable Christmas ornament. However, a stray softball crashes through the gym window and knocks over the tree, smashing the star. This sends Minori into deep regret and she forces it upon herself to fix the broken star. Despite her protests, Ryuji helps her out, not realizing how this is an actual metaphor for the situation. The metaphor being how she likes Ryuji as well, but wants Taiga to have her own slice of happiness, since she's alone in her apartment and doesn't have her own family taking care of her, except for money. The baseball club apologizes and Minori leaves, still declining Ryuji's offer of going to the party, as she feels she would not be welcome after the accident. Despite hearing that, Ryuji promises her that he will wait for her. Taiga decides to go home in order to wait for Santa Claus. Stopping by Minori's house on the way to convince her to go to the party, Ryuji, figuring she would be alone, goes to Taiga's apartment dressed up as a bear in order to help Taiga realize that she is not alone. Afterwards, she tells Ryuji to go back and wait for Minori. Ryuji leaves despite initially resisting. Taiga begins crying uncontrollably, thinking that with Ryuji together with Minori, Ryuji and herself can no longer stay together. Taiga rushes after Ryuji, calling for him, but he is already gone. Minori, who was heading to the party, witnesses this. When Minori meets Ryuji at the school, she tells him that she does not want to see ghosts and UFOs with him after all, and would rather not see them. Ryuji interprets this as being rejected and collapses onto the sidewalk. Later in the year, their class is scheduled to have a ski field trip. Taiga points out to Ryuji that this would be his last chance to confirm Minori's feelings before classes are rearranged. Ryuji catches up with Minori, who is still a bit disheartened from Christmas, and Taiga provides an opportunity for the two to start talking again. Later, Ryuji, Minori, Yusaku, Ami and the other students go to Taiga's apartment to discuss plans for the trip. Ryuji and Minori talk in the kitchen, where she constantly praises Ryuji for the way Taiga has become. She wishes that things would stay the way they were forever, while Ryuji knows that it would not be possible and becomes determined to confess properly. During the ski trip, Ryuji has a brief talk with Minori and Minori puts on the hairpin Ryuji supposedly got for her during Christmas. This is the hairpin, saying Taiga gave it to her. He realizes that no matter what he does, Minori's feelings for him will not change. When confronted by Kitamura, Noto, and Haruda, Ryuji reveals he has a crush on Minori. Later, they investigate the girl's room in order to find out the true reason behind Minori's rejection, only to end up hiding in a closet along with Taiga, when Ami, Minori, Maya, and Non-Neko come in. Ami brings up the topic of Ryuji's rejection by Minori, and the two get angry at each other. Minori tells Ami that she shouldn't judge her because the other couldn't see or read her heart. And Ami tells Minori that she was really good at faking. The next day, Taiga and Minori accidentally run into Ami on their sled. Ami feels that they did it on purpose because of last night's argument and engages in a physical fight with Minori. Minori drops her hairpin on a nearby slope, and Taiga goes to search for it by herself, but ends up falling down without the others noticing. When Taiga does not return Yusaku, Minori, and Ryuji search for her, Ryuji contemplates his feelings for Taiga as he realizes he left her alone again. Ryuji finds her at the bottom of a hill, bleeding and covered in snow, as Ryuji carries her back. A barely conscious Taiga, thinking that he is Kitamura, apologizes and confesses that she cannot stop loving Ryuji. As V-Day approaches, Taiga decides to make everyone some chocolate as thanks for the things they have done for her. However, when Minori notices that Taiga believed Kitamura rescued her from the ski trip instead of Ryuji, she becomes angry. She confronts Taiga with Ami and Yusaku blocking the exits. Trying to get her to show her true feelings, Taiga says she only wanted Minori to be happy. But Minori says that happiness is something only she can decide for herself. Taiga runs off and Minori decides to go after her. Asking Ryuji if he will go after her too, Ryuji decides to help Minori go after Taiga. While running, Minori shouts that she has always liked Ryuji but held back because of her friendship with Taiga, and because Taiga needed him more. Afterwards, Minori confirms Ryuji's love for Taiga. She tells Ryuji that this was a giant goodbye, and then she places her fist in his lips. And when Ryuji leaves her in the infirmary to run after Taiga, she presses her fist to her lips as an indirect kiss. Her first and last kiss with Ryuji. When Taiga and Ryuji decide to run away, due to their mother's disapproval of them together, Kitamura calls up and asks them to go to Emi's house, Minori, Ami, and Kitamura do not agree with their plans but decide to support them. Minori ends up lending all her life savings to the two. When the others leave Ami's house, Minori stays, and there she breaks down and cries. Ami asks her, "Are you upset that Taiga took Ryuji away from you or?" But before Ami finishes, Minori says she doesn't know. But she learned one thing: if you trip while running down a hallway, you'll get a nosebleed. If you trip in life, you cry. When Ryuji comes back to school without Taiga, Minori is unhappy that Ryuji let her leave. But he explains the truth to her, that he would never let her go, and has to accept the decision she made without him. After learning the truth, she has come to terms with everything. This reveals Minori to be a strong, compassionate, empathetic, and generous woman who genuinely cares about Ryuji's well-being. Taiga sends everyone a mail with a picture of the night sky and a single star, and Minori feels that this is supposed to encourage them to do their best. Everyone gets together to send a group picture to Taiga, while Ryuji and Minori do not end up together. The fact is that they experience a lot of trials in their love for each other. I think they could have had the chance to have made it if Ryuji took the step to let her know he likes her with his actions. However, that isn't the case because of the various circumstances they're in. If Ryuji was a more assertive man with Kitamura's personality, I could see it work. But it isn't like that in all. They are better off as friends, since they do seem to have misunderstandings verbally. They have a lot in common as friends anyway. Their generosity for their friends, their love of cooking. They also have differing views of what makes them happy though. Her with her goals of being on a professional baseball team. Him with his goals of cooking and helping out with home. I do like the ship, of course. Even though I approve of the ending of the anime. Well, that's all for today.